Take a ride with me. My name is Elroy. This is my world, and today we're going to be talking about censorship. Now, for a little while, it's become very well known that Sony is starting to censor their games. They are starting to make sure that they decide what is allowable, and their reasoning behind this is global standards. Can you believe that? So they're trying to use global standards as a reason for why games should be censored. And this is coming from Sony Japan's president, right? Which is actually ridiculous. Now, the reason that I want to talk to you about this is because more and more we're probably noticing different types of censorship. And if you type in censorship and Sony in YouTube, I guarantee you are going to find so many different forms of censorship. It's crazy. Just recently, I noticed how they've censored, or I watched a video about how they've censored Days Gone, which, I mean, come on, Sony, you gotta get behind this. This is not required. Why are you treating us like we're children based on what you deem global standards? It doesn't even make sense. And the thing is that the censorship policies, they don't have any rules. Every game is judged on a case-by-case basis. There's no rules that are around this whole let's censor the game. So depending on what they feel is risque and what they feel is not required, that's what gets censored. Now, this is a dangerous precedent we're allowing Sony to set, and I think that we need to discuss this, and we need to actually talk about why we need to get rid of this whole scenario. It's very crazy that we have this even existing today. This idea that people are allowed to tell us what we're allowed to see, what we're allowed to do, and what we're allowed to view, especially in video games. Look, and I'll say this first. I can understand that VR games require maybe a bit of censorship. It's a virtual reality game. It's meant to feel real, simulate the real thing. It makes sense that they wouldn't want you to go around killing people. They wouldn't want you to go around murdering people or slaughtering people. But on a game like this is Grand Theft Auto 5, in case you haven't noticed. I'm taking you around Los Santos. It doesn't make sense. Why are we censoring things where I use a controller? There's no real connection to reality at all, right? This is a video game, and if you can't tell that this is a video game, then I'm very worried about you. Now, if you're a child that's under 18 playing these games, and you don't understand reality and virtual reality and video game reality, and you're a child, then I actually blame the parents for letting you play a game that in Australia is rated R18. Now, I know there's going to be people who say, well, look, I don't know what my child's friends' parents let them play. I don't know what's going on over there, and that very well may be true, right? But you can at least provide a little bit of safety for your kids, and I'm sure that a lot of other parents feel the same way. How many parents do you know that would let their kids play Grand Theft Auto knowingly? All right, the game itself, this series has come under so many controversial shots. It's crazy to think that parents don't know what this game is about by now. And that's one of the scenarios that I want to put forth to you, that Sony doesn't think that we are capable of making these decisions. They're trying to censor our games for what? To what end? Because they believe it's risque, or they think that they can set the standard for what we are allowed to see, what we should be viewing. This is the thing that we need to really get behind, and I've noticed lots of videos about censorship, and I think that we need to make a hell of a lot more videos to tell Sony that they're not in control of this whole scenario. Now, Nintendo's taking a step in the right direction. Right, they understand that stifling, censoring, and just stopping games from being made the way that the developer wants them to be made, it actually inhibits their creativity and their ability to make an actually decent and great game. And this is something that I think that Sony really needs to consider. Now, I will tell you, I noticed a few times here and there that some games that I wanted to get in Australia have been censored, and that's because we have some censorship rules, which I think are a little bit pathetic, but that's just me. And the thing is, too, that I feel like these rules are being made by people that are old, don't play video games, don't understand video games, don't realize that people that play them generally know that this is make-believe stuff, and they think, well, we can decide what we want you to see. That's what kind of people we are. No, if you don't play video games, I don't feel like you have the right to instill a censorship, censors, anything like that, to stop us from viewing any type of content. I don't think you have the right. If you can't play the games yourselves, if you don't understand or enjoy video games, then how the hell dare you think that you have the right to tell us what we can and cannot see in video games, right? But that's a whole other topic in itself, and I'm not really going to talk about that. I'm talking about here how, and this actually links into another article that I just read recently, a few days ago, where Sony doesn't believe that Nintendo is really a big competitor of theirs. Now, I read this on Nintendo Live, where they don't think that Nintendo is the competition this time around with the next generation of consoles, but they think that Microsoft will be. Now, I'm just going to say this: if you're continuing to censor your games, and Nintendo are basically giving people free reign, where they're allowed to do pretty much whatever they want, who do you think is going to be the bigger competitor here? Who do you think that you're really going to have to compete with? Because I can guarantee you right now, Nintendo being edgy and allowing people to play whatever is there and giving the developers freedom, while Sony decides that they decide what is going to be censored, what you can see, what's too risque. And this thing is, there's no actual regulation as to what's risque. So it all depends on how they feel about the game. It doesn't depend. There's no guideline for it. There's no reason that they can say, well, look, this game it breaks all these rules, and this game breaks the rules as well. So both games are going to be censored. No, no, no. That's not what happens. They decide based on a case-by-case basis. That is Sony Japan's president, Atsushi Morita, who says this. Right now, I do have his name up here on the screen, and I think that this is something that we need to be concerned with, that we need to be worried about. And I'm not going to put any pop-ups here, so you can just take this ride with me while we discuss censorship and basically why I don't think that it's the greatest. I honestly believe that if we let censorship happen, these days where censorship is not prevalent, this will be called the golden age of gaming. And what we'll get later on down the track is a whole bunch of big companies that tell us what we are and are not allowed to do. Now, I just want you to think about this for one moment. Imagine if Grand Theft Auto 5 was heavily censored. Now, I know it's probably not going to happen anytime soon, but imagine if this game was made when censorship in, let's say, 20 years, if we don't get it in check, is huge, and they can censor everything. Imagine how boring and dull this game would be. It might be vibrant, and you might be able to drive around the city like I am now, or riding around it, but how much fun would the game itself actually be? Would the story, oh gosh, would the story be any good? Would that be enjoyable? Would you like to watch a game where pretty much all you can do is go to the shops and eat? You don't get to rob banks because that's censored, right? This could be 20 years down the track. Of course, I'm going to the extreme, and this is just an extreme example. You can't rob banks, you can't shoot people, you're not allowed to get the cops on you, you get arrested really quickly. Imagine a game like Grand Theft Auto censored to the extreme. Do you think that that's something that you would play? Is that a game you would even purchase? And this is a very serious topic to talk about, because the more that we allow censorship, the more that it's going to happen. And companies know that if we keep supporting their product and keep buying their stuff, and I'm not saying don't buy the next PlayStation 5, go for your life. It seems like it could be an epic console. I'm real keen to play it myself, and I have made some videos on it already. What I'm saying is we need to be very wary when companies decide that they're the ones who get to decide what we are allowed to see as consumers. And that's the craziest thing that I think we need to think about, is we as consumers are being treated like children. Are you a child? If you're under 18 and you're listening to this and you feel like you're an adult, are you a child? If you're over 18 and you're listening to this, are you a child? You gotta let someone, and I know I've asked the same question like 4 or 5 times, 3, I know, but the reason I'm asking that question so many times is because if you let these people censor games based on what they feel that you're allowed or not allowed to see, then they're beating mommy and daddy, and they're treating you like a child, and basically saying that you don't know what's good for you, but we do. We're the ones who will decide what you're allowed to see because we think we know what's best. And they don't necessarily always know what's best, they just think they know what's best, and that's a problem. So that's the video for today, guys. If you like my content, I know I haven't asked you, and there's always no pressure. If you do like my content, hit that subscribe button, click that like button, leave a comment down below. How do you feel about censorship? What do you think about censorship? Do you think that, hey, sometimes we definitely need to be censored? Now, I think I did make this point that we have spoken about parental controls. On the Nintendo systems, they do have parental controls where parents can decide what their kids are and are not allowed to see. That's the way I think that it should be. But again, if you feel like that's wrong, or if you feel like, well, censorship we're not censored enough, maybe we need more censorship, let me know in the comments below. Click that subscribe button, click that like button. Have a great day. I will see you in the next video, and I'm sure I will. But as always, Goodbye for now.